I have been wanting to talk to you for a while because I hear a lot of people, well, some people tell me that what I'm teaching is like what the Buddhists teach. And so I have a lot of questions about that because I grew up in Alabama, and when I was growing up, it was mostly Baptists. That's all I knew about. There were no Catholics around me or anything, just Baptist religion.
Okay.
So I have a lot of questions about this. So you are a Buddhist priest, right? How did that happen?
So I know some people do question, like, isn't it supposed to be a monk, a nun, right? Where we keep celibacy. But in Japan, so my story is like I was born and raised in Japan in a Buddhist temple family.
Okay.
And then this sort of, I guess, involves a story of how Buddhism in Japan sort of evolved, where it did start as a monastic style, but in 1800s, when the government was sort of turned over from the shogunate government to more democratic government, along with that came national religion of Shintoism. And so that was a time sort of a Buddhist temples and communities in a way lost its resources, including land, financial means, and many shoguns were also like donors and supporters.
Right.
So in a sense, the structure of Buddhist temple community kind of lost its foundation. So from there was a sort of, this more solid monastic style where the monks were trained and then these monks were elected in a more of a lineage-based tradition. Then World War II happened, and that was another blow for Buddhist communities where American government, interim government, took care of our country, but at the same time, they redistributed the lands of the temples. And again, that was a moment the temples sort of lost the means to keep going in a monastic way. And then one of the solutions we came up with, it's my understanding, is that we kind of recreated this hereditary system. So the temple's family, they were raised, supported by the community. And then typically the eldest son takes care of the temple by taking over his father's temple.
Okay.
So I was the youngest in the family, but my elder brother had a little illness when he was very young. I was sort of expected to take over the temple. And then, when you talk about it, that means you do get married, you have children, and among the children, we select one who takes over the temple.
Oh, I see.
It's more or less, that's how the society or the temple adapted to this new circumstances or situation.
So you became a Buddhist priest. Did you have to do it, or could you have told your father, no, I don't want to?
I think my grandfather was quite passionate about raising me as a Buddhist monk.
Oh, okay.
And all I wanted to be was be, I guess, good, what do you call it? This good son of the community, right? As I even in elementary school days, I remember talking about in front of the whole school, like, I am going to be a Buddhist priest in this community.
Wow.
And the school principal was like,
Amazing. And so a Buddhist monk, what is a monk exactly? So I think I understand what a Buddhist is, but what is a monk? Or is that the same?
I would usually, just my personally, I would usually connect the monkhood in the monastic context.
And what does monastic mean?
That means you leave behind, or sort of behind, but it's not like you cut the relationship or anything, but you bring yourself out into the world of monastic life. And so it's not like you're constantly talking to your family or friends. You become part of the Sangha. And I believe I feel more of that model style in Theravada tradition. And Theravada means the school of elders, where they observe the Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching as a lifestyle. So they wear the orange or brown robes.
Oh, yeah.
They have a more strict dress code.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And the Mahayana school, which came through China, and Korea, and Japan, which we have inherited, it sort of evolved even the way we dress. And then we, how can I say? There's adaptation to the society. So getting married, having children was another way of adapting after the two major events in the Japanese Buddhist history.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So does the yellow, the people in the yellow and orange, do they get along with the people in the black?
We, as a Buddhist community, we have one thing common, which is there are few translations, expressions. Well, we just say we respect the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and we call them the three treasures or three gems. And that's the common thread that runs through the entire Buddhist community.
Yeah. So just for my record, Buddha is the little fat guy that sits around in the cafe and people put money in there, right?
That's a lot. I think it's a laughing Buddha, right? Yes, right. I see the statue.
You see that, right?
Restaurants, yes.
That's the same guy? Imitation of the same guy?
Okay, let me say, Buddha is it's not, I don't know what's the word. It's an honorific noun. It basically means awakened ones.
Right.
Right. So it's some people it's just like adjective. So Shakyamuni Buddha was a person we consider as a teacher. So
is he like a god?
No.
So with the Buddhist religion, is it about, do you believe in good and evil?
We use terms, right? So we practice, not embody. we do good, and we refrain from doing bad, evil. I've seen some text like translations using evil, the word evil.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so is there a God above Buddha?
We use a term called the Buddha nature, awakened nature. I know I do have, sorry, I don't mean to pretend that I know Christianity, but I did have a bit of interesting conversation about the Christ nature. Right? There's
Yes.
a word like that.
Yeah.
We do not sort of, we talk about in the Buddhist cosmology, there's a heavenly realm, there's human realms, and there's animal realms, and all these 6 different realms that we talk about. Personally, we do have a vague sense of the unknown. We neither negate or make an attempt to define it. And I think that's because Buddhists do have a tendency to not go into that well, we talk about it sometimes, but this idea, understanding, a pursuit of what this world is made of, how the world is made, was not our understanding was not encouraged by the Buddha, because it would not lead us to awakening the peace.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm black and slow.
Okay.
So in the Christian religion, we know that there is a God.
Right.
And there is a devil, or Satan. Do the Buddhists believe that there is a God above the Buddhists that's walking around? You believe there's a God above him? Yes or no?
That's right. If you say yes or no, I think I would go more like toward. Sorry if I'm wasting your time here, but the God that we talk about in a Christian context, the Catholicism, is just my personal take. Is I see that more kind of close to Dharma, the truth itself we talk about. That's
And
beyond
so that
this.
truth, is it God? Is about the real God?
The way Zen people describe this truth, we sometimes use the word vastness or suchness. And the reason why we use this vastness is it's because it's beyond our comprehension, our own definition.
So does this comprehension come from God or from yourself?
That's a very deep question. This comprehension that we can't, let's say, access through our five senses or consciousness, it almost sounds like, right? This
So
is
it comes
like
from self.
there's one of the. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sort of avert these questions, but one of the challenges that we have, but also the endeavor we take, is that we try to transcend this self. And if maybe allowed to use the word God, and this what's beyond the God, and then so we drop these boundaries, and then out of this whole oneness comes a deeper understanding. That's the kind of approach that we take.
And so for me, black and slow, right? Are you saying, no, this comprehension does not come from a God above, but it comes from the five senses of yourself?
Sorry, could you say?
That comprehension that you get, is that from God or from self? Yes, from self or God?
Again, this is my personal expression,
Of course, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My personal take is that this understanding comes from the God and comes from the self. And I say this, it's both different, two and one, but one and the two at the same time, because there is, again, this is just one expression I used in the conversation with Christian friends, Christian friends, yeah. If we are not the embodiment of the God, let's say, then, so it's like tapping into this
So
deeper wisdom.
does the self become one with the God?
You could say that. I think you could say that, yeah.
And is there a hell?
The hell is another thing. We have the specific term called hell realm in the 6 realms that we don't talk a lot about transmigrations, but we have that as a part of understanding. So we go through these realms. Some say it's more literal, like after this life, there's this next life. Some say it's happening in this very moment, like, as an entity, we are going through these realms moment by moment. So there's a varying degrees of, varying interpretations.
Do you believe that there is a Satan?
We see that more as state of human mind.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's just a state of mind, but not reality.
I know ancient Indian beliefs, they have words like ghost, something equivalent to ghost. In Japan is known, kind of like England, for the ghost stories.
Right.
And one of the things I did in my hometown, maybe I mentioned it once in one of the videos, that we go out there and commemorate those spirits of people who died in the battlefield from medieval period, like hundreds of years ago.
Right.
And we are afraid. Yes, people are afraid. But we also have a ritual or ceremonies to invite them all.
Invite those spirits?
Yes, when I shared this with Protestant friends, like, no, you can't do that. Right?
I know. Do you believe there are good and evil spirits?
The way I explain it is we have lost souls.
Lost souls?
Right.
Lost them to the evil ones?
Lost means delusional, right? So if you, let's say, it's like, one of the ghost stories in Japan. If you are, let's say, killed in such an atrocious way and martyred, or you have someone that you care about, you can't leave behind, and then your sort of spirits kind of dwells, like there's a residue or something, and like attachment or anger or hatred or ignorance of this, the nature of life kind of takes form in that sort of way. So we, it may sound really supernatural, but as a solid part of tradition, what we do is we consult, we listen to those pains.
You listen to the dead?
Not like literally, but we sort of, I don't know what's the word, like tune into in a very subtle way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you tune into the dead?
I think you could say that, yeah.
And where are they?
Where are they? Okay.
Amazing.
Is it?
Isn't this like amazing?
Uh-huh.
Where are they?
They are, deities. We have all the deities everywhere, right? Everywhere we have deities. In the corner of the street in Japan, and there's the deities in the shrine, in the temple. It's a part of temple too.
Oh, yeah? So they hanging out in the streets and in the temple?
We don't really see them that way.
Do you hear them?
No.
How do you know that they are there?
It's for our culture, it is a direct expression of the very limit that we have as humans about perceiving this world. And when we kind of dishonor or overlook their presence, like we're not really literally looking at them, but then their very presence is a great reminder for us that our perception, 5 senses, our consciousness cannot comprehend, and even to think that we have an entire picture, and that we have it's like a child who's saying, yes, I know everything about this world, right? And we're not that different from that child in a sense. So
amazing.